All right, welcome to another episode of ArtCo Drone Solutions. We've got a great show tonight. We've got a special guest all the way from Bartlesville, Oklahoma, Tentoes. Say hello, Tentoes. How you doing?
Hello, Tentoes. How you doing?
All right, well, thanks for coming on the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us the story behind your name.
About myself and the story behind my name. Well, let's see. I'm the guy that didn't wear shoes to spin up. I'm still not wearing shoes now. My name. Well, mom and dad were completely conventional people, would never do anything unusual or out of the ordinary.
Right,
Uh, and they had decided Stephen for a boy and Carol if a girl. Back in those days, you didn't know what was going to come.
right. That's true.
Well, they weren't expecting me. There were two of us.
Ooh,
One only lived for a little while, and Mom put off deciding on names until she could talk to Dad and they could think about it and decide what they wanted to do.
right,
So they decided to give the one that died the name they had picked.
right,
I don't if Stephen, and I don't remember the middle name,
right.
and call me Thomas Stephen, which would translate to Twin Stephen.
Okay.
In first century Greek culture, where the name Stephen comes from,
Oh,
if twins were born, the first would be given a name, the second would be called Thomas, which just means twin.
oh, okay.
And they call me Steve, and my formal name would be T. Stephen.
Right.
But by the next day, Mom wasn't sure about this. She was pretty sure I wasn't Steve, but she wasn't sure I was Tom.
Mm-hmm.
And later that day, when the nurse came in with a clipboard and asked, "So, what are we going to call this little boy?"
Right.
She says her mind raced, and she said, "If I don't think of something quick, it's Tom." And she looked at my tiny little feet that she was holding in my hand, and she said, "Tentoe, Stephen." And here I am.
There you go.
And I was known as Tentoes until near the end of second grade. The second grade teacher took great offense at my name and therefore me, especially when it came to in his class barefoot. I had never worn shoes at school before. uh, so when we moved and he was very upset with me on everything. When we moved near the end of second grade in the new school, I was Tom, and Mom and Dad would remind me each morning, "Remember, you're Tom, not Tentoes."
Right. Huh. Yeah, earlier we were talking about this, and I thought, well, maybe that was a native Indian name, like Chief 10 Eagles or something like that. And no, you're Irish,
Yep,
so
I'm native Irish.
uh,
Blue eyes. My hair used to be yellow.
yeah, and I understand where you're coming from because when I was born, uh, and this is 1960, where uh, medical technology was way primitive than it is today. And doctor told my folks, don't give him a name. He's not going to last more than a day. And then almost 6 years later, I'm still here. So my name is Arthur Lewis Carlson.
Uh huh.
My middle name is named after my great uncle, Lewis Hilmer Carlson, who served in World War One, and so that's how I got the name Lewis, and that's how that goes. I was just a fighter. It just
Uh huh.
kept on going, no matter what came up. If I got an illness, I fought through it, and I came through. Whatever difficulties out there, you just got to be a fighter. Can't things down. All right. So, how when did you get into drones, and what was your first drone?
My first drone was in 2014. I got a tiny SD's, what was it called? SD's Proto X, which was about that big.
Wow.
Didn't have a camera or anything, but it was pretty fun to fly around.
Hmm. Cool.
And then in 18, I was homeless for a long time, and I lived with a retired colonel and his wife that we called the Sergeant Major. And they decided they wanted some drone shots of the place, so they bought a Spark, and I was their drone pilot.
Oh, wonderful.
And then about a year ago, they decided that I wasn't their friend or drone pilot anymore, uh, and or driver or aid and all sorts of other things that I did for them.
Right.
Uh, and then this spring, I found a job in my field at a big company here in Bartlesville. And so one of the first things I did when I had a little bit of money available for paying off bills and things that I owed all over the place was buy another Spark.
There you go. And we met at Spin Up this year,
We
and
met at Spin Up. I had seen you a couple times on Thursday Night Live.
right. Hmm. Hmm. And so I've heard a lot about you, and I finally got to meet you, and you brought your Spark, and that is a neat little drone, and for its size and the camera, it does pretty darn good.
I quite like it. It doesn't shoot 4K, only 1080p,
Right,
but I put 1080p on a big monitor and it looks beautiful.
right,
And for YouTube's, what do you need more resolution for?
right. That's
Uh,
true.
I'm kind of impressed with what I see about the Mavic Mini,
Right.
and I admire the Mavic and the Phantom's ability to go out there.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mhm.
When I've got Phoebe 500 feet away, that's kind of getting pretty far away.
That's true. That's true. Let's see. I started off with the Bugs 3, and that has no stabilization or GPS, uh, and that's should be a way to learn how to fly. It kind of hones your skill a little bit. Then when you finally do get a drone that has stabilization and GPS, it makes you a better pilot because without the stabilization, you gotta pay attention to what the craft is doing.
Yep.
Hmm.
And the slightest little change in wind or anything, it's going to respond to it, and you have to be real quick on it.
Yep, that's true. That's true.
And I just love the Spark's ability. I can set her in the sky and do something, and she'll still be there when I come back to her.
Hmm. And the drone after that was I got a Phantom 3 standard, and then I graduated up to an advanced, and I did a video last year that impressed a bunch of people. They started a GoFundMe and they got me a Mavic Air, and I just love it.
Uh-huh.
Love it. Everybody complains about how noisy it is, and I have a hearing issue. I'm hard of hearing, and I think that's kind of a plus for me because then that way I go, okay, where is it? Oh, it's up over there, and now I can find it. And if I can hear it, then I know it's nearby.
Uh-huh.
And it takes wonderful pictures, and it's portable. And that's the thing that I like about it is that it's so easy to carry around. I just throw it in the backpack and take it wherever. It's a wonderful drone. And now the Mavic Mini, which has longer flight time, but it doesn't have 4K. It's
Yeah.
where my Mavic Air has 4K. But I'm hearing such wonderful things about the Mavic Mini. house.
Same here. I'm really impressed by it. I haven't had a chance to fly one, but I'm really impressed by
Hmm.
what I hear.
Hmm. And it's affordable too.
Yeah,
So
it costs the same thing I paid for my Spark.
right. Hmm. And it's all folded up. It's smaller than the Spark,
Yep.
and if you get the Fly More package, you get 3 batteries, a charger, uh, extra props and stuff, and it's a good little deal. Hmm.
I agree. It looks like a really nice drone.
Right.
I might have one, except I just had to spend $1,000 buying another car, and I'm gonna have to spend.
Hey, that that's no fun when you have to deal with car issues. I've been there and I've done that. So I just have to do a little bit of housekeeping here. I want to say hello to Steve Mack, Mike B, aka the Drone Ranger. Mine's vlog is here. Hi, Shani. Thanks for coming. Mitch, old guy in the drone. Bill from Metro Drones, he was at Spin Up.
Yep.
So we got a few people in the crowd, which is good. And that is about it. Oh, there we go. So we've got a good show. And so let's see. You live in Bart. Have you been in Bartlesville all your life, or have you been?
Oh no, I'm from Illinois.
Oh, okay.
I came to Oklahoma in 14 for a job that turned out to be dreadful, and then I was unemployed and doing odd jobs and minimum wage work
Right.
until the spring when I found the job at ABB, and now I'm in Bartlesville.
Okay.
I'm very happy to be here. This is a very nice little town. I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I've been through Oklahoma. Those small town. Well, it's not really a small town anymore because it's the home of Phillips 66 gasoline.
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
And it's quite well. Before that, it was a big oil producing area around there. There's probably still a lot of oil rigs around.
Everywhere, everywhere.
Hmm.
This is on the edge of the Osage territory.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
and the Osage, uh, they bought some land here in the 1800s to settle,
Right.
and had, of course, no idea. They thought they were buying poor farmland that would be good, that the whites would leave them alone, and
Right.
they had no idea they were sitting on one of the hugest oil deposits there was.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So yeah, they came out pretty good on
they
that.
made, they made pretty good. Yeah,
Yep. So you're from Illinois. You're probably downstate area, right? Down by Springfield, or are you further south than that?
I lived near Springfield for about 20 years. That's where I raised my kids. But I'm from the way northern edge of Illinois.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my parents are from Aurora,
I
Illinois.
know where Aurora is. I've been by there many times.
Right. And I don't know if you saw one of Ken's video. He was upstate or up the river there in oh God, I want to say I think it was Montgomery, which is right up the Fox River
Uh
from
huh.
Aurora. That's where my aunt used to live.
I see.
Uh, I have relatives that live all along there. I had relatives. Well, my aunt and uncle used to live in Oswego
Uh huh.
many years till they sold the house and moved to Spokane, Washington.
Where it's cold and rainy.
Yes, well, they get a lot of snow there too
Yeah.
because it's on the eastern side of the state and it's close to Idaho, and it's a beautiful town where the Spokane River goes through, and there's the waterfalls there, and uh, very beautiful there. So, I'm guessing you weren't a nerd in school.
Very much a nerd.
Oh, you were. So, were you a techie or more assembly oriented? Like some people are really good at building things.
I was always making things. In the 60s, you'll remember that you were supposed to be just like all the other kids. There was one kid in class who was very much not just like all the other kids. Uh, he was kind of small as 3-year-olds go, even though he was 10. Uh, he had lots of trouble with schoolwork, and he was always making things. We didn't know anything about autism in those days, but now we do, and yep, here I am.
All right, all right. Uh, so I'm guessing you have Asperger's.
They quit using that diagnosis.
Okay,
Um, I, they call me autistic. I'm pretty much able to get along on my own.
okay. So you're pretty high functioning then.
Yeah, pretty high functioning. Like I can kind of keep a house.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm in my laboratory, which any normal person would call a laundry room. See the washer hookups? But I made it a laboratory because for the price of a washer and dryer, I can go to the laundromat a lot.
Okay, okay, gotcha. Oh, okay.
And I
So
have I have a couple friends who stop by and help me a little bit with decorating and arranging and such. So.
okay, okay. Uh, so what kind of things were you making? Were you woodworking, metal?
My dad taught electronics when I was a kid. Uh, and going to his lab and playing with electronic things, or he had a metal shop for fabricating things out of sheet metal for electronic projects,
Right.
and digging some aluminum out of the scrap bucket and making something out of it was great fun for me.
Oh, wow, interesting.
My favorite toys were the erector and the girders and panels, the building toys.
Right. Oh, wonderful. Have you done anything in like etching PCB boards?
I do that. I design and lay out my own boards.
Oh, wonderful.
Um, I had one right here. I just threw a bunch of wrong ones away, so I'll show you that one. I had a mistake on it.
Well, I've done a little bit of that during the 80s, and then I started doing them again a few years ago because, well, I like to tinker around with guitars, and I make effects pedals like
Ah,
distortion, fuzz, and overdrive pedals. And if you go online, you can find a gazillion layouts on there, and I might have to get back with you on maybe etching some boards, and then you can send them to me, and I could start putting components on,
ah,
start building a few pedals. So uh, that's wonderful. So uh, oh, Mel is in, and Grumpy Vlogger Lloyd is in. Good, good, good to see you.
I'm still looking for a board.
Okay. So you said you have children. How many children do you have?
I have two sons. They're in their 20s,
Okay.
and they live in Illinois. Caleb in the town where I raised them, and Ethan in the slightly bigger town just south of there.
Okay. Okay.
And they go to the church that I brought them up in.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
I'm the faraway one. I went to Oklahoma.
So since you like to build things, you might Have you ever thought about maybe building your own drone?
I've thought about getting into those FPV drones. That looks like kind of fun.
Uh-huh.
I also play with trains, and I make a lot of electronic gadget for toy trains.
Oh wow, that is wonderful. Then there's RC boats, there's RC cars.
Yeah, I used to fly airplanes
Oh, wonderful.
way back in like 1980.
Wow. I did the inline planes for a while back in the 70s. And
Uh-huh.
that was a lot of fun. Uh, yeah, I played around with the gas powered engines like COTS.
Yeah.
Yep, those were a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm surprised you don't have a 3D printer.
I do. It's right here beside me.
Oh wow, wonderful.
In fact, for years in 16, I found one at the local junk shop and bought it for $50, including 3 spools of filament.
Wow.
Uh, and I was even using it last spring, but it was getting so old that the downloadable software didn't know how to operate it anymore.
I see.
So it's been replaced with what is this thing? An artillery Sidewinder X1,
Wow,
uh,
wonderful.
and it can make really big things. It's really quiet. The old MakerBot shakes and rattles and lets everybody in the house know it's doing something. This thing, this thing, if it was working here, you wouldn't know if it was working here.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you got a pretty good setup. You could make circuit boards. You could do 3D printing. I wish I could do that. My thing is the YouTube, and that takes a lot of time because I fly my drones, and I have a fishing channel. I don't know if you're into fishing, but and what I do is I uh, upload videos, edit them, and put them on my YouTube channels, and that's a lot of fun. I like editing. I learn new things about new tricks and things. Like Mel just had a video today about uh, what is it, Dolly something. I'll have to. I'll have to. How to do dolly zoom. Yep. So
I,
I saw that and I was like, wow, that was really impressed. So
I've been enjoying YouTubing, and one of my favorite things to do is go out in the countryside and walk. Uh,
oh cool.
and people seem to really enjoy videos that I've made of that. Uh,
Yeah.
so that's what I've done all summer.
Mm.
And with a 8 hour a day job, I get home, I'm kind of beat. And so since I got a full time job, I haven't done a lot besides fly the drone and make video.
Mhm. So what kind of camera do you use when you go on your walks?
I have a DJI Osmo Pocket.
Oh, okay.
No, it's an Osmo Action.
Oh,
And I usually just set it on a tripod and walk by it with my drone and the little Flymore case by my side. So
wow.
I mix tripod shots with drone shots.
There you go. Have you thought about making like a mount, like a chest mount or a hat mount where you can mount your Osmo Action and that people could kind of uh, get perspective of the person walking through.
Well, I bought a kit with bunches of mounts, including those. But when I'm walking, I kind of bounce a lot, and the video comes out even after DJI is stabilized, that the video comes out kind of. So when there's a video of me walking down the trail, it's often the spark flying ahead of me or behind.
Okay, okay. Well, that's neat. That's neat. And yeah, there's a lot of neat things to find in the woods. I'm kind of a rock hound myself, and I tumble rocks. I
Uh-huh.
polish them up, and they make pretty neat things. Like, for example, I don't know. Do you know what Petoskey stone is? It is fossilized coral that
Oh,
is found around the Great Lakes.
uh-huh.
And a friend of mine sent me a box about this big, full of different size Petoskey rocks, and they came out really nice. And she was nice enough to send me some things that are only made in Michigan, like potato chips that are only made in Detroit. And there's a soda pop that's made in Michigan, like Verner's and Fago pop, which because I lived in Michigan for 10 years, and that just
Right.
kind of brought back memories of,
So
spend
do you know what birch beer is?
what beer?
Birch beer?
No.
It's like root beer, but it's flavored with birch instead of sassafras.
Oh,
It tastes a bit like wintergreen,
huh.
but that's from, you have to be east. Last
Okay.
time I was in Pennsylvania, I got a case of it.
Oh, okay. Well, if you're ever in, Michigan, get Fago soda. The red pop is really good. It's strawberry flavored, and I just love it. And then I found some native rocks just from around when I go fishing, like this piece of quartz with other material inside, and I tumbled that, and that turned out pretty good. There's a little bit of pyrite in there, and a lot of neat little shiny crystals inside. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. That's another hobby that I just started a year ago when I found some rocks. I have an old friend of mine. He's one of my computer buddies, and I asked him, "Hey, can you tumble these for me?" And he said, "Sure." So I went over to his house, and he said, "Here you go, and here's a box of rock tumbling equipment with the all the grit and
Uh-huh.
a few stones in there." And I got that home, and I've got like 3 rock tumblers in it. I'm like going, wow. So last year I was learning how to do all this stuff, and it takes about a month to take a raw stone and tumble it, because every week you're changing the grit to
Uh-huh.
a finer grit. Mhm.
So you get the round and shiny.
Yep, that's right. As a matter of fact, I've got a smaller piece of Petoskey stone. Maybe this will show up a little better.
Uh-huh.
Might be able to see the. Let's see if I hold
Well,
it.
your video is only about this big on my
Yeah.
screen, so I can't see much detail.
So yeah, and oh, here's one that probably has a little bit better detail in it, and you can see that.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, and then couple months ago, another high school friend of mine sent me some stones. She sent me some more Petoskey stones, but there's another rock. It's called pudding stone, and what it is, it's an amalgamation of different kind of rocks, and due to the pressures caused by the glaciers in the Great Lakes, it pushed all these rocks together, and you got uh, different colored rocks like uh, chert and feldspar, and different like green colored rocks and red, and with this light colored material all around it. And when you polish it up, it looks like, pudding that has maybe some cranberry and some olives. I don't know, but it looks really unique.
Cool.
Yeah. So, hey, I just want to say welcome to Gary from Brant Ariels. Welcome to the show. So,
Do you find geodes?
yes, we have geodes here in Colorado. I haven't found any myself, but when my dad was going to Colorado School of Mines back in the late 30s, they used to go hunting for them. And but now, over the last 100 or so years, a lot of those places have been picked over, so you don't find a lot of geodes. All right, we welcome John of Drones from Chicago. Uh, Great. All right, so we're at 5:30. I think it's time for a giveaway. So, really quickly here, so everybody go over to Enstrom Candies because trivia question is coming up. Go over to the Enstrom family history. That's where I'm going to be picking the next. All right, last week we talked about Emil and Mary Enstrom. They bought the company from their father. Okay, so let's see. All right, got it. All right, here is a question. All right, what was the original name of the candy company? But it wasn't candy back then. So that is the question. So first one to uh, get it right is the winner. Yes, it wasn't named Enstrom's in the beginning. It was called, and you'll have to go to Enstrom Candy's story and learn a little bit about the company. So, Lloyd, you better be typing real fast. No, sadly, Mike, you're not eligible, but Mike, you are eligible for our next drawing, which will be the Enstrom's chocolate cherry cordials, which are really good. So this is open to everyone worldwide. Bob Casey, welcome to the show. Ron Lockwood, welcome. And AZ Drone Dude, welcome, welcome. So today's trivia question is, what was the original name of the candy company? But it wasn't candy that they were making back then. Uh, no, uh, Lloyd, guess again. Go to the website and you can see it right there, right at the very beginning when they first started. It was called something, something, something. Grant, Mr. Stay Drunk, welcome to the show. And don't forget to smash that like button.
I don't see a like button.
Oh, well, if you're at my YouTube page where I've got the live, there's a thumbs up you can give. Okay, we got.
Oh, I'm a StreamYard.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's kind of hard to do. No, it's not that. No, I'm talking about earlier than that. That was the no, a little bit. He worked for that company. No, this is when he started his own company and he partnered with somebody. So, so it was a little after Bartles confectionery. So people are getting pretty close, but ding, ding, ding! John of Drones has won it. Jones Enstrom Ice Cream Company. He is sorry, Lloyd. You were just a millisecond late. All right. Okay, John of Drones. Uh, I need to get your address. So if you could email me at COLOKID 1960 at gmail.com. So,
I found one of my circuit boards that I made.
oh, great. Oh, yeah.
This
Nice.
this I had professionally made by a lab in China, but I did all the layout and circuit design for it.
Wow. Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah. Congratulations, Jonathan. Or if you just go to my YouTube channel, my email is right there. Bob Casey wants to know when yeah, the drawing that'll be December 21st. I will announce the winner on the live stream. I'll use the YouTube randomizer. Sean of Geek Spana, welcome to the show. Oh, okay, great. Okay, yeah, I'm on Instagram. Yep. Yep. Okay, cool. Great. So get me that, and I'll get these out on Monday. And you are eligible, still eligible for the drawing for the portals, which are it's a nice big package. It's about 4 times the size of this, and this is and John, you're getting the dark chocolate this week. Dark chocolate almond toffee. QC guy, welcome, welcome.
Bob Casey.
Yep.
Of course I'm barefooted.
uh, so, what editing software do you use for your videos?
For my videos, I have HitFilm Express, which is a free download.
Right.
They have HitFilm Pro, but what HitFilm Pro really is packages that you can buy and add to HitFilm Express.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I do all of my video editing in this HitFilm Express. It works very nicely.
Oh, great, great. I use Filmora 9 and it works pretty good. I'm trying to learn other editing software. I'm thinking about moving everything over to my Linux machine. We'll see how that goes. What was your first computer?
My first computer was an S100 machine that ran CP/M on two 8-inch floppy drives.
Wow.
Uh,
Wow. My first computer was a Timex Sinclair 1000, which was about the size of a paperback book. And
I remember seeing them.
yep. And it had the little teeny tiny keyboard, and you stored all your programs on a cassette drive, which John of Drone say he has it.
Commodore 64.
Yeah, that was a nice machine. I always wanted to get one of those. The thing is, I I was into guitars and music and stuff. I wanted the Commodore 64 because it could produce sounds,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I wanted to use it for. Uh, and so did the Texas Instrument TI 99 had that capability, but it was just a little bit out of my price range.
Uh-huh.
It's like, what do I want to do? Do I want to fly airplanes or get another expensive computer? Well, airplane was a lot cheaper. uh, so, did you ever get into building computers?
I've never been one to buy the cases and put the main boards in and such,
Right,
but I did build a Z80 computer with RAM chips and a Z80 chip and a little 7 segment displays and a keypad,
right. Oh,
all
interesting.
soldered on little circuit boards.
Hmm, interesting. Well, now with all the computers that are out there, if you went to a thrift store, you could pick up an older computer and you could do upgrades to it. You could put a new motherboard in and upgrade the video, uh, and that's what I did a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I play a lot with surface mount parts.
Okay.
And let's see. This here is a bigger, faster computer than I learned programming on
Oh
way
wow.
back in the 70s.
Wow.
And it cost less than $1.
Wow. That is interesting. Yeah. Well, you know, I'll have to send you some layouts, or do you design boards from schematics?
Yep, I do.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Uh,
well, I'll definitely be sending you some schematics.
I use KiCad.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I think I've played around with that, but I'm just not really good in getting the components in a way to where I get the traces to go to the right place. I end up going, oh darn it, it's running across another lead.
Yeah, you
That
have, you have to be kind of careful, and if you move it just the wrong spot, all of a sudden the trace goes.
yeah,
It's like no, 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 no! Stop that! Stop that!
yeah, that's right. And yeah, so what kind of things have you made with your 3D printer?
With my 3D printer, with the old one, I made a lot of stuff. I have only had the new one a few weeks, and I'm just getting to know it.
Right,
Um, Here is a bearing made out of gears that are meshed together.
right. Oh, nice.
Um, what else do I have around here? Here's a maker's coin. 3D printer enthusiasts trade these at conventions and such, and you
Oh,
can guess this has my logo in it. Uh,
oh, interesting. Did you get one of those? Uh, well, I'll just show you. It's one of these. Did you get one of these that spin up?
no, I didn't.
Wow, it's from the drone interest group.
Uh-huh.
And what it is, it's a holder for tablet.
Oh, I see. That's pretty
Just
cool.
like that, and it's got a hole in the bottom for where
For the
the
charge cord?
charge cord is. Yeah, and boy, I put my tablet there. Originally, I had my sound effects on it, and I went and got a cord to plug in the computer, but for some reason it's not loud enough. I have the audio cranked all the way up on the tablet, and it just and plus I'm getting some crackling noise. I don't know. Maybe I got a creepy cable or
Maybe. Crackling noises are often the cable.
yeah. So or it could be the plug-in on the back of the computer. I might try it with the plug-in that's on the front for microphone and speakers and so forth.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
So you'd be like Ken Herring and you go bonk.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, it's I could do the fart noises and I could do the whoop whoop whoop. Eh, That Mel says run into the mic or audio in on. Yeah, that's what I did, Mel. I did that, and it just. But yeah, I'll try something else. Maybe I need like a preamplifier plugged in to kind of bump up the signal to the computer because what I have for my headphones is I have an amplifier for that. And originally I had a mixer for it, but I was having all kinds of issues. It was a USB uh, mixer, and uh, I'd go to start the show, and there'd be something. And I said, you know what? I'll just do it really simple and just get a USB microphone like I have. And sometimes less is more.
I'm just using the microphone in the computer. It probably sounds that way.
Oh, no, it's not bad. Yeah, Mel, you're right. I'm too poor for that fancy stuff, but that might be something for down the road. I do have a vlogging camera, but I use this to do all my videos. Like when I made the video for the giveaway, it's not bad, but it's only 12 megapixels, so everything. Oh, okay. It everything seems a little grainy. Okay, Lloyd says headset out of the tablet to line or mic or audio in. Oh, okay, okay. I'll try that. Uh, One of the gadgets that I made, I like fishing and I wanted to take videos underwater without having to make an underwater drone. I made a GoPro mount that mounted on the bottom of a piece of wood, and I had it have a couple strings to where I could control where it goes, and I got some pretty neat footage out of that. I take it with me when I go fishing, and I set it out there, and you can see the fish that I'm reeling in, or I'll go to one of my other favorite places. There's a little creek that empties into this big pool, and there's all kinds of neat little critters in there, and you just let it float towards the cattails, and you pick up the minnows, the tadpoles, and aquatic bugs. It's really neat. So, what kind of work do you do?
I'm in software.
Oh, okay,
Um, right now I'm working in the test department for new products.
okay,
Uh, so whenever the software developers bring out the next release,
right.
I break it.
Oh, okay. You kind of put it through
Yeah,
the rugged test to see
yep.
if it goes kablooey. Oh, that's good.
I automate most of these tests because I want to be able to say, "Oh, we have a new release. Do it." And
Oh,
I don't want to overlook anything. So it does everything. And it's like, oh, this fails here. It worked last week.
so so what kind of software language do you work with? Do you work with Unix or Linux or C plus plus?
I use C sharp mostly at work. In my home projects, I use C and C.
Okay, okay. I've dabbled with it a little bit. I've done Visual Basic because it's very similar to what I used in high school.
Uh-huh.
I was old school. We had Basic back then. That would be in the late 70s.
Yeah, BASIC is a language I don't admit to knowing.
And we had a mainframe computer that had these big reels of tape
Mhm.
that stored the programs on. And we had pretty primitive CRTs that we worked on. And we also had it wasn't a CRT, it was what they called a deck writer, where
Right?
everything was on paper.
Yep, it printed everything on paper and you could type in your programs and
Yep. Yep. And so that was interesting there. And now we've got all of these new gadgets, and it just seems like the computers are getting better and better, and doing it in a smaller package, which
yeah.
is really interesting.
Yeah, when I was a young computer scientist, the ultimate cool computer that we all hoped to work on someday was the Cray. Oh, that was
Oh
an
yeah,
awesome machine.
yep,
When I looked at the specifications a couple years ago, uh, this thing is so far beyond it, you can't even compare them.
yeah, that's right. Uh, I mean, our cell phones have more capability than the computers on the Apollo command module.
Oh, heavens. The computers on the Apollo command module, compared with that little bitty chip that I showed you a while ago.
Yeah, yeah, and it was amazing what they did with what they had then
Yeah,
to get three astronauts, a quarter of a million miles to the moon and back.
that was a big project.
Yep. Yeah, it was a big
That that
change.
happened. That happened right after my 11th birthday.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
was on the edge of my seat the whole time.
Yeah, same here. I was 9 years old when they landed on the moon. And boy, watching like, wow, that's really cool. And I go, yeah, we're going to Mars after that. And then it just kind of slowed down. Skylab was pretty interesting, and space shuttle, and too bad that we never went back to the moon, but that might change in the next.
Yeah, that might change pretty soon, but I think the main thing we found out when we went to the moon was there wasn't a whole lot of point going to the moon anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yep. Yep. But and then we found out how how much time it would take to get to Mars. So we sent probes there, which a lot cheaper and a lot safer
Yeah.
to send out there. Uh, Now I'm hearing that one of the projects that they're working on is they want to send a probe that's carrying a drone. And I thought, wow,
Yes, they want to fly around, I think, one of the moons of Saturn with the drone.
oh,
It's
that,
pretty interesting. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, you could see more and you could cover more distance with the drone, and it'd be kind of interesting to for them to design a drone that works in a weaker atmosphere, and the environment is going to be so much different than flying a drone here on Earth.
And the fact that it's hours away, you can't work it with the sticks.
Right, that's right. And everything has to be pre-programmed,
Yeah.
and you got to figure, okay, this is what we want it to go up, we want it to go out, and, and you got to tell how far out. And
And remember, they don't have GPS satellites out there.
yeah, that's true. And there, I don't know what kind of stabilization they'll put on it. They might use, well, they could probably use the same stabilization that they have on the Tello.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Where it just has a camera looking at the ground.
Yep. Hmm.
The Spark uses that when it's near the ground, and it can be very stable that way.
Uh-huh. Hey, we got a new guy in the house. PG, welcome to my live stream. All right. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Mike. Yes. Help me by getting my watch time up by playing all my videos. Go to my playlist, and you don't even have to be watching them. All you have to do is just let it run, walk away, do whatever you need to do while it's playing, and then I'm building up that watch time. So, what is your next project? Either on the 3D printer or flying?
My next project, I want to make a uh, crossing gate system for trains
Oh, cool.
that the has remote sensors that have RF modules in it, so you don't have to run wires between them.
Oh,
And they'll signal the gates to start coming down when the train blocks that one, or when the train blocks that one, the signal to start going up when it clears the middle one.
ah, hey, that's
And I should be receiving some boards from a Chinese board maker uh, early this week.
well, interesting, interesting, very interesting. Uh, yeah, I was into trains when I was really young. I had not the little tiny ones, but the trains that were about this big, and you had a nice big track, and you'd set it up in the living room, and smoke would come out of the locomotive, and it would make the noise of a train go woo woo, go around the track, go around the track.
I have pretty big ones. Let me go get a caboose. I'll show you what I have.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in, PG. Well, while he's getting one of his trains. One of the things, somebody gave me a neat idea, uh, because, oh, wow, that is a big,
That's pretty big.
Yes, it is.
The uh, the lights and the guy's lantern all light up
Oh, wow.
from a battery that I took underneath.
Very neat. Very neat. Uh, yeah, you would have loved that RoboMaster. Boy, that was fun to put together, and I'm having fun just playing around with it. I don't know if you saw my video from last week where I did a test. I wanted to see how well it would handle snow and ice.
Yeah, I'm the one who said you needed to tie a string to it.
Yes, yes. Someone and I was teasing my sister's cat with it. Somebody said a feather on it, and then I got thinking, if I had a little thin piece of wire and put a feather on it, I bet that cat would just chase that thing all over the house. uh, Lloyd says is that a G gauge? Uh,
That is G gauge, yes.
okay, well, all right. The Grumpster knows his trains. Uh, we have a hobby store here in Denver called Caboose Hobbies.
I have been there.
Oh, you've been there. All right. Well, you remember the TV show Fat or Different Strokes
No, I
with
don't
Gary?
watch much TV.
Oh, okay. Well, Gary Coleman, who played God, well, ah, he was the main character on the show. Anyway, he actually worked there for a while.
Wow.
And he was really big on model trains. Gary Coleman is the actor's name, but I'm trying to think of uh, Gary Coleman.
Google to the rescue.
Yeah, Gary Coleman. Uh, all right, and he did a whole bunch of movies. Oh boy.
Hey, Google, what was Gary Coleman's character on Different Strokes?
Arnold,
Arnold.
right? Yeah. God, how could I not know that? Willis was his brother. Yep. He'd always say, "What you talking about, Willis?" Yeah, and that was a cute show. He was just I think he was like 6 or 7 when that show started, and that lasted like 4 years. So, but he was a little person like me, because he had issues with his kidney, and that's what caused his it, it stunted his growth.
Uh-huh.
So later on, he was able to get a kidney, but he had kidney issues throughout his life. But so that show spun off into a couple other shows. All right. So we've made it to just a little over an hour, and I wanted to thank you for being on the show.
It's been pretty fun.
It was a pleasure having you. You're a remarkable man. Keep on flying and keep making projects, things that make you happy and keep you busy. So you have a wonderful Christmas, and I'll see you down the road.
And the same to you, and Merry Christmas to everybody that's watching.
Okay. All right, everyone. Those of you that are watching, thanks for coming to the show. You all have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week on ArtCo Drone Solutions, where I'll have another drawing for another box of toffee. So take care, everyone, and see you all next time.